I don't really hear it. All right, so this is week 7, quarter 3, Wednesday, math 7, and we are going to go over this worksheet that says how to write the equation of a line. Okay, so how to write the equation of a line depends on what equation you want to do. There are different types of equations, right? So think about it. Equations of a line. There are 3 of them. What's the first one that you generally already know?
Intercept.
No, the first one's this one. What is this one called? Right, but what is that called though?
She calls it point.
No, it's called slope intercept.
Oh, slope.
Slope intercept one. Okay, what's the second one?
Point slope form standard.
Yeah, that's fine. And then you have point slope form. Yeah. What does standard form looks like?
A x no ax plus by equals c.
But notice the the x and y on the left side, correct? And you also cannot have no what?
You cannot have any fraction negative number.
Yeah, no fractions, no negative numbers, right? And then if you do have a fraction, such as like -2/3x, how do you get rid of that? How do you get rid of the negative in the fraction?
Positive denominator, which is -3 by
You just -3. Yeah, there you go. What is point slope form?
Open parentheses x minus x1 close parentheses.
Good. So first question, if you're given the slope and y-intercept, write the equation. So if you're given the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, well, you got everything you need, right? You just have y equals mx plus b, right? So now write the equation with the example. If you're given a graph, right? What can you find?
I can find my slope.
Yes, you could definitely find your slope. What else? Yes, what else? You can also find what?
X and Y intercept.
X and Y intercept, right? So those are the 3 things that you can find, correct? So with this slope right here, with this graph right here, what is your y-intercept?
My y-intercept is -3.
Yeah, so b equals -3, right? Now let's take a look closer at the slope. Now for the slope, remember I told you you have to first identify if it's positive or negative. So what is it?
Negative.
Right. Positive means you're going up, negative means you're going down, right? And it's also important to note that a slope means change in y over change in x, right? Like how many spaces do you have between the point to get a y between the 2 points and x to the 2 points? So you can always start with this point right here because that's already at a corner. Do you see the corner right here? That's not a good one. But that one's a good one. Do you see that? Write a triangle, right? What's your change in y? How many spaces are you moving on the y? Try on yours.
2.
Y is not 2 spaces, but try again. So you see that there's a 1 right here and a 2 right there, and it's a -1/2. So your slope is a -1/2. Now that you have that, y equals -1/2x minus 3. That is your that is your slope intercept form, right? But now that I see this, I can also see that this point is your y-intercept is your y. Your y-intercept is your y-intercept, right? Because that's 0, -3, right? Your x will look like it's maybe at 6 all the way over here. You can't really tell, but it's like 6, 0. You see that? So make sure you label that as well. Label that as the y-intercept. So label it. So here's your y-intercept, and this is your x-intercept. All right, next question. If you're given a slope and a point, so your slope is given and then a point, right? So then what would you need to find?
Okay, so then I would need to find my y-intercept.
Yeah, find b or the y-intercept, right? Because y equals mx plus b. So write that down. You need the m and you need the b. You need to write all of this down to show that you know what you're talking about. This is not written down how I want you to write it down. So you need to write it down. Do you understand? Whatever I have here, you need to write down there. All right, so the example given to you right here is y is equal to mx plus b. You're given that your slope is 1 over 2, and your x is 4, and your y is -1, right? So let's plug that in. When I plug it in, I'm going to have -1 equals 4 times 1/2 plus b. What's your b?
Okay, so my b is -3.
Good. Now write your equation. What's your equation?
Y equals -1/2 x minus 3.
-1/2? I don't see a -1/2. Don't see a -1/2. She should have given this to you before the homework yesterday. Did she go over the homework from yesterday?
No.
Did everybody just turn it in?
Yeah.
Everybody do it? That homework was really hard. This should have been first. All right, let's take a look over here. If you're given 2 points, okay? 2 points is x1, y1, and x2, y2, right? So what do you need to find?
Okay, so we need to find both the and
Slope. What's the slope formula?
and equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x.
And also, what do you need to find?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept would be, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and find the slope for the first equation. For this first equation right here, remember how I showed you that you could just take this one right here, the one in the box, subtract that right there? You remember that?
Yeah.
And then subtract the x, and then subtract from there right there?
Yeah.
So then when you do that, you should have -2. Just keep going. You do it yourself. Okay, so your slope is 1 over 2? Okay, then you have to pick a point. Which point looks easiest for you? Remember, we try to avoid negative numbers, but if we can avoid negative numbers, then just, that's fine. Sounds good to me. So that's the point we're going to pick, right? So once you pick that point, what you're going to do is you're going to go y equals mx plus b. And what do we need to find? You need to write that down too, okay? Or did you write it down? Okay, so when we do that, we're going to go ahead and do -2 equals 1/2 times +2 plus b, right? What's your b?
I got
What'd you get for b? So you gotta be careful with the negative signs because they do kind of mess it up a little bit for you, right? Now, that's not to say if you pick the other point, you're not going to get the same answer. You will get exactly the same answer. So let's say, for example, instead we picked point -2, -4. You're going to get the same answer because you have y equals mx plus b. Your goal here is to find b, right? So then when we do that, we're going to have -4 equals 1/2 times -2 plus b. Half of 2 is a -1 plus b. When you add the 1, it's still -3. So same answer.
Yeah.
And that's it. And notice this is the same answer. So it's not like, oh, if I pick the wrong point, I'm going to get the wrong answer. Nope, same answer. Okay, so the only thing I need to do is make sure this part and this part is all filled out with the notes that I have. And other than that, you're done. And that concludes today's test, which was short and sweet. All right, go.